I was born on July 19th, 1953, to a family that didn't have a lot of money. Money was a challenge as my mother was a receptionist and my father was a World War II veteran working as a diaper delivery driver. They didn't have a college education, but they worked hard for the family and they loved their work. I don't know if they were ever able to enjoy life. When my father fractured his ankle while working, it brought us to our lowest point. Little money in our pockets, medical bills to pay, we lived by the day. It was difficult seeing hardworking people struggle for survival. I promised myself it wouldn't happen to anyone else. Most people worked their first job at 18. My first job was at 12 years old. I sold newspaper and worked in a local cafe. I guess you can say my childhood wasn't really much of a childhood except for playing sports. I wasn't a straight A student or most voted to succeed, but I was really good at American football. It was a way for me to escape my world and enjoy something I was good at. I worked hard and was awarded a football scholarship to Northern Michigan University, where I became the first person in my family to go to college. I always knew I wouldn't become a professional football player, but I did know I wanted to be educated. I worked hard for it and became the first person in my family to graduate from college. I worked various jobs and have always been determined to succeed at my goals. At 26 years old, I became vice president in charge of sales for a Swedish houseware company. No, it's not IKEA, if that's what you're thinking. In some people's minds, this would have been seen as successful. I mean, vice president isn't an easy job title at such a young age, but not me. I didn't feel happiness, joy, or fulfillment. Not until I visited a shop that was placing large orders for one of our items, a drip coffee maker. At the time, the two owners were selling whole coffee beans, teas, spices, and coffee-making accessories. I felt their passion and love for something as simple as coffee. Coffee! Can you believe it? Keep in mind, this was 1981, when coffee was a quick drink to get you through the workday. I knew this was where I belonged. I fell in love with what they created and the passion they had for something that was overlooked. For 1 year, I called, I asked, I nagged, and I visited asking them to let me join their team. I must have annoyed them really badly, because later that year, I became their director of marketing. 1 year into the job, I went on a business trip to Milan, and what I saw was a complete difference from American coffee drinking culture. People actually sat down and enjoyed their drinks. It was more than a drink. It was a relationship, a place where people went to meet, talk, and appreciate a finely made coffee. This was what we need, I thought. This was my second eureka moment. I told the owners of my vision, but they wanted to stay true to their current business of selling bulk items, not individual drinks. I didn't blame them. Americans at the time didn't even know what a latte was. I decided I would create my own coffee shop. The challenge was trying to raise $1.6 million in 1 year. I spoke to 242 people and 217 said no. That's a 90% no, by the way. They'd tell me it wasn't worth the money, that it wouldn't work, that there was no real profit in such a business. I won't lie, I was discouraged and I even questioned my idea. But growing up poor, I wasn't after profits or millions. I was after my dreams to become a reality. I didn't get my full 1.6 million, but I got what I needed to open my first shop, Il Giornale. I made many mistakes in that first store, but I learned very quickly and picked myself up until we were making annual sales of $500,000. I was one step closer to my goal, but something was still missing. Remember that shop I had to be part of and worked for? Well, soon after, the owners decided to sell their business. I had a deep relationship with that shop, and I just couldn't let it go. So, in 1987, I bought their 6 stores for $3.8 million and combined my stores with their 6 and became the CEO of Starbucks Coffee. You heard it correctly. Starbucks was the first coffee shop I walked into, worked for, and eventually bought. Although it wasn't the Starbucks you know today. Over the years, I managed to transform it into the drink shop I always imagined, that people said was dumb, a bad idea, wouldn't work. It's grown to be a place that is more than specialty coffee drinks, but a place to study, meet friends, and feel comfortable. There are now more than 26,736 Starbucks stores in more than 75 countries, employing over 300,000 people. But that's not where my successes lie. I found my success when I was finally able to give back to every Starbucks employee, or partners is what I call them, with stock options, free healthcare, dental care, retirement plans, adoption assistance, and paid college tuition for all of our partners. My father passed away before he could see what I've done, but I think he'd be proud to see Starbucks providing hardworking class people with benefits he wasn't able to enjoy or provide. No, I wasn't the original founder of Starbucks Coffee Company, but I had the goal to build a relationship between man and coffee, and I made it into the Starbucks you know today. Most of all, I had the dream to build a company that my father was never able to work for, a company that treated their employees how my father and family wanted to be treated. It was never about the money, the profits, or the possible wealth. It was about the people I would help. That is my success. That is my greatest achievement. My name is Howard Schultz, and I'm the rags to riches who built Starbucks Coffee Company into one of the world's most recognizable brands.